Tonight on Q2, the truth behind the poison.
Results are revealed into what exactly led to a Cody woman being hospitalized for 6 days on New Year's Eve.
It was scary and nerve-wracking because I shouldn't have lived.
Plus, catching fire on social media.
He just jumped out and ran right straight at me.
An altercation involving a protester leads to allegations of a hate crime. But what really happened?
You know, why are you running in my brother's truck? Why are you calling him Nazi? What's going on? And I tried to square up with him.
The MTN 530 news starts right now.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Andrea Lutz.
And I'm Russ Riesinger. This was Kaylee Klein just 2 short months ago. The 23-year-old was in a Billings hospital bed fighting for her life after she says her drink was spiked with antifreeze at a Cody, Wyoming bar New Year's Eve.
Well, tonight, an update after the Park County Attorney's Office reviewed the case and says there's no evidence anyone poisoned Klein or gave her antifreeze.
With more on that report just now released, here's MTN's Matt Carmack.
Since New Year's, Kaylee Klein's story has been featured all across the country, here on MTN and even Inside Edition. But a new report released by the Park County Attorney questions some of those events Klein said happened that fateful night.
Does that make any sense to you?
I shouldn't have lived.
This is security footage captured on Klein's camera from the night she almost lost her life. Footage taken before the 23-year-old and mother of 2 slipped into a 4-day coma.
Ultimately, it was terrifying because I felt like I was burning from the inside out.
Klein was ringing in the new year at the Silver Dollar Bar in Cody before she started suddenly having seizures and couldn't move. She and her family believe someone slipped antifreeze into her drink because they say her consistent seizures stopped when she was later given an antifreeze antidote.
But the fact that the antidote that they treated me with was the only thing that my body rapidly responded to.
But it turns out Klein may not have actually consumed antifreeze. A new report just released by Park County Attorney Brian Skorick says no ethylene glycol, the main ingredient in antifreeze, was ever found in Klein's system. Skorick's report quotes a medical examiner who wrote, quote, "If Ms. Klein had ingested ethylene glycol while drinking alcohol, the ethylene glycol would pass through her system without being broken down." Furthermore, quote, "Just because Ms. Klein seemed to get better after the antidote was administered does not indicate that ethylene glycol was present." The medical examiner also added that Klein would have needed to consume a large amount of antifreeze to experience symptoms of poisoning, given her blood alcohol concentration that night, which was nearly twice the legal limit. Instead, the report identifies another possible cause, a combination of alcohol and Wellbutrin, an antidepressant that when mixed with alcohol can increase the risk of seizure.
It's rare that that combination would cause anything substantial, certainly seizures or other things.
Dr. Eric Arzubi is a medical psychiatrist. While he doesn't know Klein's case personally, he agrees that alcohol and antidepressants can have bad side effects when mixed with each other. But he says it's not usually enough to cause this kind of damage.
What's important to understand is that when somebody's taking medication, often the effects of that medication can almost be canceled out by drinking alcohol.
The report also says camera footage from the bar didn't capture anyone putting anything into Klein's drinks. Even so, Kaylee's family isn't convinced. Kaylee and her mom declined MTN's request to do an interview because they say they're now seeking legal counsel. But they claim Kaylee was not taking Wellbutrin at the time of the incident and believe the tests for antifreeze were taken too late, leading to a negative result. In Cody, Matt Carmack, MTN News.
Tonight, we're learning more about a Billings man accused of leading police on a chase last week, putting them and several pedestrians in the path of danger. According to charging documents, Anthony Demetrius Humphrey is facing 4 felony charges of criminal endangerment, as well as 3 misdemeanor charges. The ordeal began at Billings Senior High School when the school resource officer was alerted that Humphrey had a no-contact order against him. Police then spotted him outside the school in his truck and learned that there was also a female child in the truck with him. The truck sped off with police making several attempts to stop it and several pedestrians nearly being struck. BPD officers finally disabled the defendant's vehicle on 30th and Lewis by ramming into it. The 8-year-old girl was found safe.
Tonight, new details surrounding an altercation during a weekend protest that's garnered a lot of attention online, with some calling it a hate crime. While police say it's not a hate crime, the community is coming together to stand behind a man protesting with an upside-down American flag and why he attracted attention for it. Our Haley Monaco has more on the case.
This is where the incident happened. The protester says two vehicles stopped along 27th Street, and a man in the passenger seat of the second vehicle got out and came towards him.
I think we have a problem, and I don't think we want to admit it.
Tuesday marked the 11th day. Jonathan, who asked to just be referred to by his first name, is protesting what he believes to be white supremacists and hate groups in Billings. His protest includes holding an upside-down American flag and "Not in Our Town" sign.
They tried to kill me in the street for my First Amendment rights.
But on Saturday, he says a man came at him with a knife.
I was just holding the flagpole at an angle so that I could keep him back from me, and he kept coming at me, and he reached behind himself and pulled up a knife. So I just reacted and jabbed him straight in the chest with the end of this 1-inch flagpole.
But the man who approached Jonathan has a different story.
The gentleman with the sign and the flag started screaming and approaching my brother's truck in a hostile manner. My sister, his wife, is on that side of the truck. I will not allow an individual to aggressively approach a female. So I jumped out to confront him.
Michael, who asked to not be shown on camera and was just visiting Billings, says Jonathan called his brother a Nazi.
Why are you running in my brother's truck? Why are you calling him Nazi? What's going on? And I tried to square up with him. He hit me with a flagpole, and then we left. I always carry a knife.
Did you pull it out and present it?
I'm not going to answer that.
Okay.
I talked with the PD about that. That's between me and them.
Sergeant Jeffrey Stovall with the Billings Police Department says a call came in about a verbal disturbance, and once investigating, heard different stories.
We don't have any injuries to go that someone was actually assaulted in that way. However, that's the conflicting reports that we have at this point. Basically, we had some conflicting statements as to who the aggressors may have been, what weapons were involved.
Stovall says they did not find any indication that Michael or his brother are white supremacists.
Until we have a factual reason to accuse someone of being something, we've got to be very careful about doing that. Just because there are laws that protect people from being, libeled and slandered and stuff like that.
Michael says he plans to pursue defamation charges against someone from comments online.
We're looking at defamation case against her as well as a civil lawsuit.
No charges have been filed in this case. A Not in Our Town rally has been planned for this weekend, with people believing this was a hate crime. But police say it does not meet the criteria. In Billings, Haley Monaco, MTN News.
Lots of fresh snow last night through this morning, but as we take a look out towards King Avenue with the Stockton Bank weather cam, not much to be found there now. 28 is where we started the day, 40 degrees for the warmest reading, and the winds were light, 0.06 of an inch of precipitation since midnight, and that resulted in about 1.5 inches of snowfall. It was a little more than that since we got a start just before midnight. Temperatures across the state ranged from the 40s west of the divide, a lot of 30s across the eastern plains to upper 30s, low 40s here from anywhere from Sheridan, Cody up towards the Billings area. And precipitation, a lot of the major reporting stations at least picked up enough to measure. We're going to see a drier weather period before more snow. We'll tell you about it later.
A Ravalli County Republican has resigned his seat in the Montana House. Representative Ron Marshall quit the legislature yesterday afternoon, saying, quote, "The corruption is more than I can stand. Lobbyists run this country." Marshall, who owns a vape shop, filed a federal lawsuit last month claiming major tobacco companies violated an agreement with the state by lobbying for a bill he says would threaten businesses like his. However, a judge declined to issue an injunction. Marshall says his message to voters is he no longer wants to play the game in the legislature.
I'd tell them, would you stay here? That's the question I would ask. Would you stay here and deal with, knowing that you don't have support from leadership, you don't have support from hardly anybody. I got 2 people up here that I trust right now, and, what would you do?
The Ravalli County Republican Party will need to select 3 possible appointees to fill Marshall's seat.
It is training day in Billings as firefighters prepare for the annual Seattle stair climb. this weekend that's happening.
The event combines fundraising with fitness, climbing up 69 flights of stairs in hopes of raising some $3 million. Q2's David J. talked with firefighters at one of their workouts.
These are the stairs at the DoubleTree. The firefighters will go up these 4 times to simulate what they have in Seattle. A much faster pace than this. But they say they're ready and they have plenty of motivation.
Let's go, boys. You got it? Let's do it. Here we go, guys. Yeah.
There's nothing that can prepare you for 69 straight flights of stairs on air in full gear.
But it's something Assistant Training Chief Chris Voller is proud to do in honor of his son, 6-year-old Tristan, who had his final treatment and overcame leukemia last year. Tristan was there at the end of the climb last year to celebrate with his dad.
For me as his dad, it was pretty personal. Once I got to the top, once I finished my grueling climb, he was right there with a big smile on his face waiting for Dad. It was amazing.
All the Billings firefighters will climb in honor of Tristan and other cancer patients.
All the kids battling cancer, you really feel for them. And if this is something we could do to support them, I don't think climbing stairs is all that bad.
There's a bond among all firefighters and even closer with others in Montana, including Missoula firefighter Andrew Drobeck, who has won the Montana Marathon and has taken the top spot at the stair climb several times.
He's done a phenomenal job, raising awareness and money for this foundation. So great guy to look up to, great role model for younger guys like myself.
And on this day, those working at the DoubleTree during practice admire the firefighters' commitment.
It's coming from their heart. It's something that there's got to be a drive there that makes them do that. And it makes me feel safe. So I appreciate them very much.
This is a really challenging building, and if we ever did have an issue, I feel very confident that they would be on it and take care of us. So it's nice to see them working hard.
When you think about the motivation, every person on this team has a reason that they are doing this climb for.
In Billings, David J., MTN News.